Hello, this is Gunarax, and due to popular demand, I've finally taken some time out to make my first YouTube video, which I'm very excited about. So I've been meaning to get myself on this platform actually for a while, but I've only just managed to get around to it. So I'm a big Arsenal fan from Melbourne, which is in Australia, for those that don't know. So right on the other side of the world, and it's as far away an Arsenal fan could be from North London, unless of course you live in New Zealand. So I've been a big Arsenal fan for about 30 years, and I've experienced many happy moments, some sad moments, and a lot of frustrating moments, especially of late. So I'll talk a little bit about my favorite Arsenal memories on a separate video. On this video, I'll talk a little bit about where Arsenal were at when Wenger left and where Arsenal are at now. So Wenger left Arsenal in 2018, and it was actually a surprise when he left because he always said he would honour every contract that he signed. There were rumours that he was sacked, but I guess he left by mutual consent. He probably got a push from the board to call it a day, rather than Wenger simply deciding that he wanted to go. So his last season at Arsenal wasn't Arsenal's worst ever season. We still finished sixth and won 15 out of our 19 home games, I think. But it was his lowest league finish as Arsenal manager. I think we conceded more than 50 league goals. We lost 11 away games. So clearly the high standards he had set once upon a time, they were slipping. And to be honest, they were slipping, many seasons before he actually departed. There's always arguments about when he should have gone. I guess the season before when we won the FA Cup, it would have been a perfect opportunity for him to say goodbye and leave on a bit of a high. But, he decided to carry on, and in the end, he left on a bit of a sour note, which was, his own fault. And he left behind a squad full of players with deficiencies. Defense was always a problematic area. The squad lacked resilience and leadership. And one of my favorite players, Santi Cazorla, he had retired too. So there was plenty of work for his successor to do. Good evening. So his successor was Unai Emery, and to be honest, a lot of fans, including myself, were feeling pretty optimistic about his appointment. He was a winner. He had won 3 Europa Leagues with Seville. He was fresh from winning the title with PSG. His style of football was attacking, and he had just signed a couple of defensive players in Socrates and Torreira. So I was feeling pretty excited about his first season ahead. Unfortunately, he didn't get off to the best of starts. I think we lost against City and Chelsea first up, but the fixtures weren't, particularly kind to him. But after that, we went on a bit of a run, and it was great to see a more passionate, more involved manager on the touchline. And I think that season we finished fifth, and we were only a couple of points behind Chelsea, who finished third. And also we got to the Europa League final as well. So I would say his first season was a minor success, and that there was something to build upon. But defensively, we were still struggling, and I think we conceded more than 50 league goals. So that summer, he signed Saliba, Tierney, and Luis. Saliba didn't play. Tierney was injured, I think, when he first joined. And David Luiz didn't really make the impact that we needed him to. He just added to the mistakes Mustafi and Bellerin used to make. So I never really understood why we kept signing, Chelsea rejects. And it all kind of went pear-shaped for Emery after that. He looked lost. The players looked lost. We were struggling to play out from the back. Our defensive players weren't capable of bypassing the opposition press. In the end, he just, had to go. So Arteta came in, and to be honest, I wasn't particularly excited about his appointment because he hasn't managed anyone before. But nor was I disappointed because, he worked with Pep, so I figured he would have picked up on a few things. So I was genuinely interested to see, how he would get on. The first thing I noticed about Arteta was that he's very hands-on, almost micromanaging the players. But to be honest, after seeing how clueless our players were under Emery early on that season, I think Arteta's hands-on approach was very much needed, and I noticed that the players started to play towards a plan. We looked much more organised. The players knew who to pass to, and we ended up getting some really, really good results, and obviously won the FA Cup, which was a great start for Arteta as the manager of Arsenal. So Arteta's been in the job just over 2 years now, and even though he still has many critics and haters, and admittedly I've also criticised him as well, there's definitely been some major improvements on the pitch. As a team, we look far more organised than we did under Emery and under the latter part of Wenger's era, especially defensively. He's completely changed the personnel in defence. They're pretty much all his signings. They're defending really, really well as a unit. So let me talk a little bit about our back five. Ramsdale's had a fantastic start to his Arsenal career. He's been one of our outstanding performers so far this season. I remember when he first joined, he received a lot of disapproval from fans, but he certainly proved all of them wrong. He's looked confident in goal. His ball distribution has been really good, much better than Leno's, and he's made some really outstanding saves too. He communicates well with his defenders, and they all trust one another because they know what their specific role is in the team. So that's, credit to Arteta. Because in the past, our defenders have passed back to the likes of, Leno and Cech, and they didn't really know what to do with the ball. So, Ramsdale, he's only 23, so hopefully a lot of good years ahead of him. And, I haven't actually felt this confident in the goalkeeper since, for a very long time, since the days of David Seaman and Jens Lehmann. So, it's been long overdue since we had a promising goalkeeper. Ben White, he's formed a really, really good partnership with Gabriel, which is great to see because we haven't had a good central defensive partnership for a long time. I'm still a little bit unsure about Ben as a defender. I feel he's not strong enough, but he's obviously good on the ball, and it definitely helps us play out from the back because he's a very capable passer of the ball. He communicates well with his fellow defenders, and he's got really, really good awareness. And he's also young, he's only 23, 24, so he's got a good number of years ahead of him to keep developing, and hopefully he can turn into a top class defender for us. Gabriel, he's been a terrific signing for us. He's performed really, really well the last couple of seasons, and I've been really impressed with him. He's tall, he's strong, he's good in the air, he reads the game really well. And he's very dependable, and having him at the back definitely fills me with a lot of confidence. He's just the type of defender we've been crying out for a number of years. So it's great to have a solid central defender. And as I mentioned before, him and Ben White, they've started to form a really solid partnership at the back. So hopefully it can continue and lead us to success. So Tomiyasu's actually surprised me because I didn't expect him to be as good as he has been. I thought he would struggle because coming to the Premier League, I thought he would need a lot of time to adapt, but he's been an absolute revelation. He's had a really, really solid season so far. He's good at marking. He reads the game really, really well. He's a strong tackler. And he gets up the field to support Saka as well. So, no doubt he's been a massive upgrade from Bellerin. I was worried when we signed Tierney actually because I thought we had signed an injury-prone player, but so far he's looked pretty fit in Arsenal colours. He plays with real grit. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and he's definitely a fan favourite. It's exciting when he gets forward because he has that drive, that never say die mentality. So he's definitely got potential there to be Arsenal captain one day. 4, 5, they're all around 23, 24, so they've got many years ahead, hopefully playing with each other, which is good news for us because they can continue to develop. A team needs to have a good spine, a good foundation, and I think Arteta is starting to build something now. We've also got Thomas Partey, who's doing a pretty decent job as a defensive midfielder. So we've got a pretty solid, backbone. Something that we've lacked for a good number of years. I guess the only worry is picking up injuries. While the likes of Tavares and Cedric have, they've done a decent job when they've come in. I don't think we've got adequate cover in central defence. I don't particularly I don't particularly rate Holding. So probably need, another addition there. Offensively, I know we aren't playing the greatest football that we've ever played, and I know Lacazette gets a lot of criticism, but I'll still keep him at Arsenal. Although he doesn't score a whole bunch of goals, he's definitely useful. He links up play, he holds up the ball really well, and he's a pretty intelligent forward player. He makes life difficult for the opposition defenders, and he's good at winning free kicks. And he plays with real grit and determination. So he's similar to Tierney in that respect. And it's no surprise that, currently he's the captain. But, obviously we do need a proper striker, a number 9, to replace Aubameyang, who left. Saka and Martinelli, they're definitely exciting players. Saka's probably our best player. Martinelli, he's finally managed to stay injury-free, and he's had a run of games under his belt, and he's performed really, really well. So, it'll be exciting to see him develop the next few seasons, and hopefully, he doesn't have any more setbacks. Overall, the team looks far more resilient. We don't have any more flimsy players like we did in the past with the likes of Ozil and Bellerin, and to a certain extent Aubameyang as well. We've got the last remains of Wenger players in Xhaka and Nketiah. I think Nketiah is going to leave in the summer, and Xhaka, I know he frustrates a lot of fans. He frustrates me too. He doesn't seem suited to the Premier League. He's not really agile and looks a bit awkward when he's defending, but he's a pretty decent passer of the ball. He links up play well from defense to attack. So perhaps that's why Arteta keeps playing him. So looking at the Premier League table, we're sitting pretty comfortably in fourth spot. We've got a couple of games in hand. I know we had that defeat against Liverpool, but along with Manchester City, I think those two clubs are head and shoulders above anybody else. And I think we should finish fourth, and anything less than fourth would be disappointing. Considering the position we've got ourselves into. I think Man United are a bit of a mess, and I see them dropping plenty more points. Spurs are Spurs. They every time they get a good result, they end up losing the next game. So we have a couple of weeks now till our next game, which I think is against Crystal Palace away. And then we've got Brighton and Southampton, I think. So they're all winnable games, and we should feel confident in getting maximum points from those games. I know after an international break, we can be a bit sluggish and a bit slow to get going. So hopefully Arteta can rally the boys for a final push to cement that fourth spot. So that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you again very soon.